Picking up where we left off, we are at the vocabulary word angle. An angle is formed by two rays with the same endpoint. I'm not going to be super particular about the definition of it. Yes, you could draw that. We've got a ray right here. Let's say this is ray A and B. And then we have another ray from here going this way. And this is A, I'll use a different letter, A, E. Okay, so we've got our two rays have the same endpoint, endpoint A. Now there are three ways to name an angle. Two of them are going to be used way less commonly in this class, but the third way is going to be the most important way, and I will point that out to you. So way number one is by the vertex. Now the vertex, we can go ahead and kind of look down here, this one. Let's actually skip to the back real quick. Vertex, the common endpoint within an angle. So if you draw those two rays together, where they meet each other, again, we're on the back real quick doing vertex first. This right here, that common endpoint is your vertex. All right, it's your common endpoint. That's your vertex. So way number one to name an angle is with the vertex. So you could say angle, that's our symbol for angle, angle A, because that is our vertex right here. Now I will say this only works if the angle is off by itself. If you've got multiple angles beside each other, you cannot just name it with the vertex. But that is option number one. Option number two is sometimes there is a little number. So let's say a 3 right here. Now it does not have a degree sign, so it's not the degree of the angle, but this could be named as angle 3. So there sometimes is a letter that kind of numbers off all of the angles. Way less common. You may not see that very often with our class, but just a way to name it. The third and probably the most important way to name an angle is with 3 letters. All right, and with 3 letters, the vertex must be in the middle. Very important. It does not matter the order of the other two, but the vertex must be in the middle. So we could say angle B-A-E. Notice A, the vertex, is in the middle. We could also go the opposite direction, angle E-A-B. Again, A is in the middle, A is the vertex. It must be with the vertex in the middle. This way of naming it is very important. It is how we will see the majority of the angles named in this class. So we want to make sure we can name an angle with 3 letters consistently and be able to pick out the angle when it's been named with 3 letters. All right, coming down to vertical angles. Vertical angles are 2 angles whose sides form 2 opposite rays. All right, so we've got an opposite ray. Let me just kind of draw out this definition. Here's a set of opposite rays, and then we have another set of opposite rays. Vertical angles, I'm going to highlight them in green. This is a vertical angle right here, and then I'll do it with pink. This is a vertical angle. So as you can see, the sides are opposite rays. The blue and the red are opposite rays. The orange and the yellow are opposite rays. So the pink and the green are vertical angles. Big thing to take away from this though, and we're going to talk more in depth about these vertical angles, is vertical angles, they are congruent. Congruent means they are equal to each other. So that means this angle right here is congruent to that angle right here. Right, and just as a side note, our congruent symbol is a squiggly with an equal sign. We'll talk more about that next unit. All right, a linear pair is a pair of adjacent angles. Adjacent means they are next to each other. Adjacent angles whose non-common sides are opposite rays. So if we draw two angles, so here's one angle right here, and I draw another angle directly beside it. As you can see, they are going to overlap with one side, and then the other side, the pink and the orange, are opposite rays of each other. All right, that is a linear pair. Another thing to know about a linear pair is that they form a straight line. Right down here, we have something called a postulate. A postulate is just an accepted statement or fact. It is not something that's been proved wrong, but it's also not something that's been proved correct. That's why it's not a law or a theory. We will see a lot of postulates within this class, especially this unit, but it is just an accepted statement of fact. And then our last two definitions, we've got parallel lines. Parallel lines are lines that are in the same plane, that should say plane, my apologies, are in the same plane. So they're on, remember a plane is that never-ending flat surface. All right, so parallel lines are in the same plane and they do not intersect with each other. All right, so we've got two lines that are on the same plane. So basically we could draw, on the same plane, but they are never going to intersect with each other. And then lastly, we've got perpendicular lines, lines that do intersect and form a right angle. So we've got our perpendicular lines. A vertical and a horizontal line are great ways to show that. And then the way that you show a right angle is with your box. That is our symbol for a right angle, just in case that needs to be refreshed. And a right angle is a 90-degree angle. So I want you to take a second down here, down below. It says match each vocab word to its corresponding diagram. So go ahead and pause this real quick and match it, and then unpause it to check your work. Hopefully you did pause it, and now that you can see where the answers are, make sure you got these correct. If you missed any of these, please call your teacher over to double check what might have gone wrong. If you are all good with this, go ahead and head on to lesson 2 videos.